Welcome to the Aesthetic Talk, the premier podcast for aesthetic professionals around the world. I'm your host, Jonathan McLean. I'm the proud founder of elite aesthetic healthcare recruiting firm, McLean Aesthetics, connecting the best talent with leading med spas, dermatology, and plastic surgery offices nationwide. On this show, you'll hear from industry experts, medical professionals, and CEOs as they share their journey, provide insight on the latest trends, and offer invaluable advice. To ensure you don't miss out on any of the latest conversation with our experts, subscribe on YouTube and all your favorite podcast platforms.
The Aesthetic Talk Podcast.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Jonathan McLean of the Aesthetic Talk. And today we are talking to a laser tech and esthetician, really great out of South Florida. I know she's going to have so much to say. Please help me introduce Katty.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for having me. I'm very honored to be on the podcast today.
Awesome. We are going to get into some things, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jonathan McLean, and I'm the founder and CEO of McLean Aesthetics.
Welcome to the dark side.
Let's go. Let's start off. I always like to ask my guests a little bit about their story.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about how you got in this industry and some of the challenges you had to face to really get in.
Yeah, so I got into the industry about 4 years ago. I went to Aesthetician school, but I didn't really know the route actually of how to do everything. I just knew I wanted to work in a med spa. So I actually cold called and sat down with med spa owners and I asked if I can apprentice them. And turns out I have to go to school. So I ended up going to school for it. And then before I finished esthetician school, I also knew I wanted to be a laser technician. The machines were more interesting to me than, say, eyelashes and eyebrows. So I went and joined a Facebook group and I joined a laser conference. Basically, I went there and I networked with a bunch of people. I was super nervous and I ended up getting a job by the end of the weekend. And I ended up working for that office for almost 3 years.
Awesome. Yeah. I find that so interesting because I get so many calls from providers that have not made it in the industry or even estheticians or anybody in the aesthetic industry. And they're like, I've applied to so many jobs that haven't made it. And you just said yourself that you cold call, you went to offices. Why did you feel like you had to go the extra mile to get the job?
I just knew that I was really hungry for it. And I knew that an application online wasn't going to do it because I had no experience and I didn't know the way to do it. I know that if I want to become somebody or do something, I'm going to go to the people that are doing that already. So I would just call all these med spas and text and leave voicemails of saying, hey, I am looking at schools. I really don't know the route. Can you give me 30 minutes of your time? I'll make it worthwhile. And so I ended up having a med spa owner sit down with me. She's very successful in Tampa. And I hand printed these sheets of papers that were the schools I was going to decide between. And I went to her and I was like taking so many notes. I asked her a million questions. I had everything ready to ask. And she ended up basically telling me, listen, you can't apprentice, you have to go to school. But based on the sheets of paper that I brought her, she said, don't go to these schools, they're too expensive. So I remember thinking, okay, so I don't want to get ripped off by spending $12,000 on school. So let me go a different route. Let me think this a little bit longer. And then I ended up taking a different road home that day. I'm leaving that med spa meeting and I took a different route and I ended up thinking it was a coffee shop. And I ended up walking into this coffee shop and it was actually an esthetician school. And I remember my jaw dropped because I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, how am I here? And I never heard about the school because it was so new. And the owner was there after hours and I sat down with her and we talked for hours. By the end, I was enrolled. Wow. So, yeah.
That was fate. That was a sign right there.
Super, yeah.
I wanted to flash back real quick to the mentor, so to speak, that you found. Mm-hmm. How did you know she was the right one? How did you know you wanted to even speak with her?
I just knew, based on everything, she was a top med spa in Tampa, which is where I lived at the time. And she was a female entrepreneur, owned her own med spa. She wasn't a PA. She wasn't a doctor. She was an esthetician. And for me, that really meant a lot because I wanted to learn about her route and how she did it. And I trusted her guidance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you've been working as an esthetician for some while now. What inspired you to keep growing and growing your knowledge and going to conferences and becoming the boss that you are?
Thank you. I am just naturally very passionate about what I'm learning. And I think if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it well. And I want to be the best. And to me, it was just a natural attraction towards science and education. I knew while I was in esthetician school what I didn't want to be as an esthetician because there's such a wide range of specialties. I knew I wanted to work for a plastic surgeon. And I knew I wanted to work with lasers. So I knew the only way I was going to get there was to go to school. And I was super hungry because I really had to put myself out there, and I didn't have anyone behind me telling me to do things. I was going to go out and do it myself. So I ended up taking that job, and I took a very small paying job. I took making less than a barista at Starbucks, but I knew that I was going to be able to go to school. Within a week, I was enrolled in laser school. So in my head, I owe my boss my best job and the most amount of knowledge I can provide the patients because he took a chance on me. And so I believe in, if I'm grateful for something, I have to act upon it. So I just became obsessed with education, conferences, learning more so I can feel more confident in the clinic setting.
Yeah, and I want to emphasize that. I think people think once you get the job, the work is done, but it's just beginning. The conferences, education, you're investing in this, or you're finding a job that's investing for you. Either way, you're learning and then taking this knowledge and then building that for better patient care.
Yeah, 100%. I always remind myself that nothing I do in aesthetics is original. And what I mean is that the machines that I work with, as well as the entire industry, the next med spa has it. And so if I want to set myself apart, which I do, I want to be the most knowledgeable and I want to be the most trustworthy provider. And hopefully patients like that as well. So far it's been successful. So.
Awesome. How do you build, I know I was talking to you a little bit behind the scenes. I wanted to ask you, how do you build trust with patients? Yeah,
so I think there's a lot to it. It's a matter of, a clinical understanding as well as just being people. I always say, I'll be your friend, you'll be mine as life changes, and I'll be there with you. So things that I do in the clinic that really make a difference is a lot of eye contact. That's just a natural thing I do. I really look into people's eyes, and I really feel their energy. I always let them know we're in it together. I let them know realistic standards. This might be spicy. This area might hurt a little bit, but we're going to take our time. I always make sure they know what's going on. So obviously I understand that when they sit down, they're a little bit vulnerable. So I talk to them. I make sure I always keep my hand on them or, gently, maneuver them. But I also say, okay, I'm going to turn you this way. Okay, we're going to go ahead and turn the machine on. It might feel a little bit, scary or whatnot. This is what I'm doing. So we are always in communication to where they feel comfortable and they trust me. But I always say, by the time that I meet them to the time that I have them down for procedure, I have to build that trust. Yeah. And that's on me. So there's this clinical aspect of the way I maneuver, the way I'm speaking, my voice, my tone, my eye contact, my body language, how I'm positioned makes a difference. I'm very aware of that. But I also have to be aware of, while I'm doing all this in my head, I want to enter your world. So I want to talk about things that make you happy. So while I'm doing procedures that might be difficult, I'm going to ask you questions like, where do you like to travel? Oh, do you have any fun trips coming up, or any, how was your birthday? Make them think and make their mind escape. And time flies. So there's definitely a tactic.
Hi, my name is Jonathan McLean, and I'm the founder and CEO of McLean Aesthetics.
Let's go.
All right, so let's play a game. This show, I feel like games are important to really get the audience involved. So we're going to play my favorite game called Red Flag or Green Flag. So I'm going to give you a scenario, and you tell me if it's a red flag or a green flag.
Got it. Let's go.
All right. Waiting until you're in your 30s to start getting facials.
Red flag, for sure. Red flag, because by the time you're in your 30s, you already have so much damage if you're not pre-treating your skin. So definitely red flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite, what type of skincare products do you like? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have probably 2 brands that I'm obsessed with and that I recommend. It's Skin Medica by Allergan. I love their products, specifically their face wash. Obsessed with it. I've used it for years. And then Skin Better is incredible and completely backed up with science. And I love all their products. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That leads me to my next question. Celebrity skincare lines. Is that a red flag or green flag?
red flag.
Why?
Because I think a lot of it's just marketing hype. I feel like it became like, what's the next thing that every celebrity does when they hit a certain point? They just become, either a clothing brand or a skincare line. So definitely red flag. However, I haven't tried any of them, so I can't speak upon if they work or not, but I just would stick to something that's science-based.
Finding your esthetician on Groupon, is that a red flag or a green flag?
Red flag, I would say. I just think anyone that's quality wouldn't be discounting their services to be on Groupon. I just feel like they're more based on making sales or even just getting people in the door, not really focusing on that treatment plan, because you would never go to a doctor if they're on Groupon. So why would you trust someone with your face on Groupon? I just wouldn't.
And can you tell us, so why is it so important to have that acute care, that level of care in the aesthetic setting? Because some people think it's kind of like, almost like getting your nails done or, going to the gym. Like, people don't understand. So I would love for you to explain that.
Yeah, so I definitely see that a lot. I would say that it's really important to have a provider that is going to be there in the next 5 years, 10 years, etc. Somebody that you can call if you have an emergency, a 24-hour line, because that gives you security. That gives you that insurance based on, I just got a pretty intensive medical procedure. If anything goes wrong, I have somebody to call. And I don't think you should treat your dermatologist or your esthetician any different than your primary care doctor. They're just as much importance as, them. So.
Okay, awesome. And our last one, DIY facials at home, red flag or green flag?
I would say, okay, so unpopular opinion, I think it depends. So I'll say it's a yellow flag because I think that I do believe in like home remedies. Like I do believe in like baking soda and like, all these different things like turmeric. I think lemon has a lot of different healing properties, but to what extent is where it kind of determines that. So maybe like aloe leaf is great for, if you get a burn. I don't think that's DIY. I just think that's more of a natural remedy, but I think it depends on what they're exactly mixing and what concoction.
Awesome. So the honey treatment that you do at home, that doesn't work?
Well, I started with those. So I love doing that in high school, like putting all these cool things on my face. I never had any issues, but does it work? I have no clue. So up to the viewer.
Awesome. All right, well.
Hi, my name is Jonathan McLean, and I'm the founder and CEO of McLean Aesthetics.
Let's go.
Now we're going to jump into the next segment where we ask the expert, right? And I like this segment because you being the expert, you've been in this field, you know exactly what's going on. So I want to take some questions from the viewers and then have you answer and get your opinion. So Amy is currently working and she's looking to become an esthetician. What is the first couple steps she should take to really get in the field?
Amy, what is she doing? She's just working in the field or?
So right now she's working at the front desk at a dermatology clinic right now.
Yeah. So I would say that's the first step. Get experience, kind of see, get your vision right of what type of esthetician you want to become. And then I would just say mentor under somebody. So get close with that doctor, get close with that provider. And then definitely research schools, go to conferences. There's so many resources. I even went and joined a Facebook group for lasers. Like it was Laser Connect. And I think I had like 300, people. So go old school, be creative, and then start working on that resumes. There's so many free certifications that you can take even as a front desk, where you can kind of beef up that resume and just go out there and see what you can do from it. But just be hungry. And there's no excuses. I think people get so shy about, oh, well, I want to get into it, but I don't know where to start. you have Google. You have so many resources. If you can't like get involved in it, it's a matter of your drive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So put the work in and it'll happen.
Yes, always.
I believe that too.
Yeah.
All right, so we got another question from Josh. So he has $5,000. He's an esthetician.
Mm-hmm.
That's $5,000, and he's looking to spend it on training. Like he wants to get training and get more to advance his career. Where would you suggest he spend that money at?
I would suggest that he spends that money at, honestly, I would say maybe skincare trainings or even just traveling to different conferences. I know that might be a silly thing to suggest, but I think if you go to the best of the best conferences, maybe they're not local, but if you're able to travel somewhere and get like a 4-day conference and just learn, I think that's valuable. And I think $5,000, you can also reinvest that into your own business. So maybe as an esthetician, you want to buy, a bunch of skincare, get your first order in and just start rolling out clients. And that way you can kind of build a business. So you can either go into the education route or you can go into putting that $5,000 back into your business.
And I like what you said about going to the top conferences, right? Because that's also a networking piece, right? You can meet other people, bounce ideas, maybe gain a new job. You never know.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's endless. So definitely those conferences. Are there any conferences that you know of that you would suggest?
I would definitely suggest like a unique perspective would be kind of researching the most popular machines and most popular equipment that you like. Say if your passion is body contouring, research into what brands are going and what their conferences are. So you don't necessarily have to go just into skincare, but research niche conferences, and I think that could help you as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Jonathan McLean, and I'm the founder and CEO of McLean Aesthetics.
Let's go.
So now we're going to go into our last segment called The Hot Seat. This is where we ask you questions about trends in the industry. And we just want to get your opinion on it and what you feel, right? So the first one, I hope I don't get any backlash from this, but influencers. I get so many influencers that go into spas and ask for free treatments. What is your opinion on that?
My opinion is that influence marketing is completely dying out. Influence marketing, views and followers do not associate with money. So it does not provide, that guarantee of patients coming in your door. I think that a lot of influencers have used this trick to get free treatments. They make a quick video, they produce it, they do their job, they're gone. And that video may or may not get patients in the door. In fact, sometimes you're like, oh, they got paid to do it, or, they're just trying to up their own brand. So I think that if you are starting a business, don't go the influencer route. But if you want to partner with, businesses, I think that's a better route. Say if you want to advertise for your business, start doing vitamin B injections complimentary at your local Pilates class, or, start getting involved with social groups with people that actually want to spend money. I think that's a better way to market. Influencing is not the same as it once was.
Okay, awesome. So before you can get the customers to the door with influencer, but now people are more organic and they want the truth.
Yeah. I also think as a medical provider, take the money and honestly let the influencers come to you and pay full price.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I also see people and some providers just all over the world that charge for like pain relief, like maybe laughing gas or numbing.
Pronox.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? It's becoming a huge stuff.
I think it's amazing. I think Pronox, at least that's what I personally work with. I know with surgery, it's a different ballgame, but Pronox has definitely been helpful. I think that, when you're in a situation where the patient is in a lot of pain, do that. But I also, if you're going to, I think including it is important as an option. However, I think it should be up to the provider and the office if they charge for it. Because you can also wrap that price into the treatment, or you can kind of add it on as a second price. So that's up to discretion. Yeah. Is it best to really talk the patient through and have a long-lasting relationship rather than like push and be salesy? 100%. Always about relationship based. I always say I'm not a salesperson. I don't sell cars. I am an educator. And I have schooling as well as every provider in this industry has a lot of schooling and it's very expensive. So what you're paying for is not a sale. You're paying for my advice. So I think education, whether you make that sale and that patient does treatment or not, I always want to add value. And I think that's where patients trust you, because my thing is not about making a sale. It's about educating you, adding value. You decide if you want to be treated by me or not.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, thank you so much, Katty, for sitting down with me and talking more about the industry.
Tell
everybody where they can find you, all your social media handles, things like that.
Yes. So my LinkedIn is Katty Fussell. I post a lot of blogs on there. My social media is Katie Celeste. And I also work at IMO Cosmetic Dermatology located in Coral Gables. Thank you.
Awesome. Until next time, peace.
Bye.